Good morning, everybody. Whoa, that's pretty cool looking. Looks like I got some rays of sun going through my head. Um, America is where I live. America is my country. America is where I was born, and America is perhaps where I'll die. I guess time will tell. But regardless of what we might think about the country that we live in, it is where we live. And regardless of what we may think about the government or the people, it's where we live. And it's something we've built. And the way I see it, it's kind of like when you build a house and you screw something up, whether it be a wall in the wrong place, whatever it might be, the wrong sink. You can fix these things. You don't have to tear the whole house down. But if the foundation's bad, you got to find a way to support it in order to rebuild the foundation. And that's where we're at in America. The foundation that we've built ourselves on is, there are a lot of lies. And the reason why this came to mind this morning is because I've heard a lot of people talk bad about Americans. And I understand it. I understand that there seems to be a dislike for the way that the American military industrial complex runs, and we're in agreement with that, most of us in America. But it's really sad when folks blame Americans and say Americans are violent or Americans are hateful, because it's not true in any way, any more than it is other countries. It came to mind this morning when I watched this the list 25. It's a YouTube channel where they show the 25 most extreme this or that. And today it was 25 most horrendous sports disasters. Excuse me. And every single one of them was in another country. Now, of course, there are a lot of countries and the world's a big place. It's bound to happen. But these were sports disasters. These were, almost every one of them was caused by aggression towards another team. They were usually at soccer events, and they were usually riots that ensued. You know, in a lot of other countries, they have to put up walls between the fans of various teams, because otherwise they will literally kill each other. And at a lot of these events, when this happens, 40, 50, 100, 200 people die. It's just crazy. My point to that is that it keeps people are wrapped up in competition, contest, and in the military complex, it's contest for goods, for services, for oil, for money, for gold, for power. But even within the social network, everybody has this secret yearning for something competitive, and that's how I see sports, as kind of a reflection of our collective psyche. Like, it's okay because it's somebody else's team, we're not fighting, we're not doing anything, we're letting them battle it out. But I've seen people have heated arguments over sports teams. And I look at sports teams a lot like I see governments. You know, they're opposing forces. And everybody wants to win, except for the differences in the big world picture. Unless everyone wins, no one wins. And that's how I see sports too. You know, I'm an easygoing guy. When I have a competition, when I have a contest or play a game of pool and somebody wins, I thank them. You know, nobody likes to lose, but that's part of life. So I started thinking about this, like, idea that we seek out conflict, and it's something that I'm still trying to kind of trying to figure out, you know, whether this is human nature or if it's just a byproduct of the environment that we live in. I was thinking about UFC fights the other day, and I was thinking, you know, I know a lot of people watch that. It's very popular. I just don't understand it. I cannot understand that, or boxing. And I think that they are two of the most foolish sports, if you want to call them sports, out there. Now, I'm not trying to offend anyone who likes these things. That's fine. Boxing goes back a long way, has a long history. But It also has a long history of people who have their brains basically knocked out of their heads, have to go through surgeries and talk like this for the rest of their life. And for me, that's destroying what was given to you by nature, your intelligence, your intellect, your consciousness, giving it away for a fight, and I just don't understand it. And boxing has morphed into this UFC. They wanted something more. Now we don't just punch each other, we kick the shit out of each other. And when I see the human body being treated like that, it makes me wonder, you know. And these people aren't just violent, angry people. These are good, educated, you know, folks who just enjoy seeing bloodshed, I guess. A lot of folks will just say it's a competition. It's just a competition. But yeah, but people like to see people get beat up. They like to see people get, oh, look at him. Oh, yeah, he's taking him down. This isn't just boxing. This is all sports. This is the reason why when people go to hockey games, they're looking for the fight, you know. I've heard this so many times, you know. Oh, there was no fights. Or there was a fight. Like, how did this become is this just human nature? Or is this something that we can conquer? Or is it something we're taught by our parents? Not our parents in the physical sense, our parents in the governmental sense, you know. Our government has taught us that competition is okay, you know, that we need to take what's ours. And this is how, you know, well, capitalism and socialism become opposing forces, even though in the end it's all about giving people what they want or what they deserve. And both have become dirty words. So we got to figure it out, people. We got to figure this out. You know, I did have like one of my subs made a comment on my video the other day when I said, I made a comment about how, you know, I don't blame Obama. You know, he's just another figurehead. And somebody said, why not blame Obama? You know, he's done this and this and this, and his birth certificate's unreal. And I was like, hey, I've never seen his birth certificate. I don't know. I mean, this is just another play. As far as I'm concerned, everything that we're told is bullshit. And that goes without saying to include all this crap about Obama and his birth certificate. And I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm saying it's irrelevant to the situation at hand. It's a distraction, another distraction. These are figureheads that were put into place for us to beat on, you know, punching the clown. It's not a real, it's not the real situation. And I guess the conclusion I came to is that it's us. You know, it's ultimately us. We want to place blame, and there is a lot of blame to be placed, but these are things that have been going on since the beginning of civilization. You know, these are ancient things, you know, to want and to take, and to hide things from your people under false pretenses in order to get them to flow and go with the flow, I guess, and to back up wars. And that's what happened in 9/11. Because I'll tell you, you know, I know a lot of the youth today, you know, 18 to 20 years old, they don't remember 9/11. You know, they were too young. But I was, I think, 25. I was getting ready to go to work, and I remember just the tears running down my cheeks. I couldn't believe it. You know, I couldn't believe this had happened. And it took about a week for America to, or at least for me and my group, to get over the idea that that we'd been attacked, and to start to understand the deeper implications of this, that we were lied to go to war. Whether it was allowed to happen, whether it was a conspiracy, whether there were bombs in the towers, I'm not going to even go for that. I don't even care, because I can't prove it. And this is kind of along the lines of a lot of stuff. I can't prove it or disprove it. But, you know, I did my homework, and I still don't understand how Building 7 collapsed or how the towers free fell. None of that makes sense, and engineers have said so. So we have to go with the specialists, and what they say is true. And often they're wrong. So we're left to our own devices, people. We have to decide for ourselves. And decide whether violence is the default mode for humans, or if we're just being suckered into it. There's a lot of lie. There's a lot of lying going on in government. There always has been. And sometimes it's easy to feel trapped. Feel like we're the puppets, you know? Not just the leaders, but us. We're the puppets of not even the military complex, because the military complex only works for, and this is where it all comes down to for me. You know, we blame the government, but really the government is at the mercy of the military. And then we blame the military, but really the military is at the mercy of industry and corporate interests. And that's what they're fighting for: oil fields, gold. And then we blame the corporate industry and realize that they are catering to us, our desires, our wants, our needs. We're Americans. We should have this. We should have that. We deserve cheaper food. Damn it, we don't want to go to war, but god damn it, why are gas prices so high? You know, it's a joke. It's really a joke. Because I see people all around me complaining about what's wrong with the world, but they're adding to it. And I'm no exception. I have my issues. I have my wants, you know. I need a cup of coffee in the morning. No, I don't always check to see if it's fair trade coffee. You know, we kind of each pick the way we choose to live, and if the way we want to live requires more income, we tend to lean more towards capitalism. And if the way that we want to live, you know, rejects money, then we want to lean more towards socialism. And then there's somewhere in between where people are just saying, hey, you know, we've got to find a happy medium for everyone. So maybe we should all just step back, stop fighting amongst ourselves, and stop blaming anyone else. Because ultimately, we're all at the mercy of ourselves and our neighbors and our friends to make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone. And it's not going to happen tomorrow. You can't flip a switch and have the government turn around and just start acting on what you want on your behalf. So we have to realize, you know, I sometimes feel like maybe I'm sticking up for the government. I've been anti-government for many years, but the more homework I did on it to try to prove my point that it doesn't work at all, that the social structure doesn't work, that nothing we're doing works, the more I see working. It's like we can see, and when you say that, when I say that, it makes me feel like people jump down my throat saying, how dare you stand up for, you know, the social structure, it's horrible, it's corrupt. Just like everything else, we always see the negativity first, if we choose to. And there are many corrupt facets to our government and to our society. But why do we overlook that the large movements towards change, and the folks who have stepped out and spoken against the government that they worked for and lost their careers and their jobs over it? What about the people who have realized that what they're doing is wrong and quit and turn their lives around to try to better mankind at a cost to themselves, their families, their health? So people do good things out there. What we have to do is back them up 100%. But we have to know that what they're doing is right. For example, this Snowden thing, you know, there are two sides to this issue, you know. Some people want to say, you know, he's a hero. Some people want to say he's a traitor. We have to look a little deeper than that and say, what kind of things are being released here? You know, and to what purpose is it being a traitor? Are we exposing things that our government knows that we should know? Or should we not know that because we put them in charge to know these things? Now there's two governments. There's the governments we elect, and then the government that is the real government that elects themselves. And this is where we get angry, and then we start getting in arguments against people, back and forth. You know, I do my best to speak from the heart and talk about what I think is important and true, but I'm not so arrogant to think that anything that I believe is correct. But some people are much more, for example, my chemtrail video the other day, I had someone come on and say, you seem like a reasonably intelligent person, so therefore I can only assume that you're a shill. And that video was very clear to point out that I'd been called a shill by many people before. Just by that comment I could tell that either the guy was totally joking or he was totally serious. I looked at his channel and he had called someone else a shill on another video right before that. So here's a guy going around listening from somebody's heart saying, hey, all I'm doing is looking for more evidence. I need the proof, and so he just calls you a shill rather than putting forth any evidence, any proof. And this happens with political stances as well. A person will say, nope, Obama's this or Obama's that. Say, okay, can you send me a link, or can we talk about this, figure this out? Nope, you're wrong, I'm right. So it becomes us against us, and it keeps us divided. And I think people know that now. The division is what's keeping us separate from ourselves and our fellow man, our neighbors. And division is the tool of the elite. So we got to knock the shit off and get past our differences and discuss the issues rationally. Provide evidence where it's needed, and where there isn't any, well, bite our tongues a little bit. There's a lot of speculation out there, and it gets so old to dig through it all. There's a lot of garbage, and a lot of people are believing everything that they hear the first time they hear it. But for me, living through a few presidencies, I could see this repeating pattern over and over. Half the nation is on his side, half the nation isn't. Goes from Clinton now to Bush and then to Obama, and now I see that the older generation, folks who have been through, say, 10 presidencies, they know it's the exact same thing too. It's just another repeating pattern with new facets. So gotta stop fighting amongst ourselves and get out and do something about it. Peace.